have a minion. We could start. Hey, everybody. Glad you are here. Shabbat Shalom. We have an exciting weekend, starting with tonight. Shabbat is always exciting to me. If nothing else, even if we don't have parties and celebrations going on, although officially Shabbat is supposed to be kind of a wedding, that every week we've got another wedding to attend. I am exhausted, let me tell you. No, but if nothing else, it gives us a celebration moment because we get to rest. It's a good excuse for resting. Do you feel like you're going to get any rest this weekend? Yeah, sure. It's Shabbat after all. So the themes, there's a lot going on in the world this week, this year. I'm going to ask you. You don't have to tell me what it is, but I had started a thing where I ask you, and I mean this, did you do anything this week to make the world a better place? Some of the books that I've been reading, we drove to Jacob's camp yesterday and came back yesterday. And we were listening to a book on tape about time, and it always, every once in a while you get into one of those moods where you think about, if this was your last day, are you doing what you need to do with your last day? What would that be? Yeah, sleeping, right? Who said that? Yes. So, and if sleeping is what you want to do your last day, that's not such a terrible thing. I sometimes wonder about that on days when I finally get to rest. It could be beating that video game you were trying to beat. That could be the most important thing that you have to do in your life, depending on who you are and how old you are, I guess. It could be making sure that somebody else's life is easier or better. It could be, I don't know what it is. You're going to figure out what it is. And hopefully, and I don't mean to put pressure on you on your day-to-day, but I hope that there's something. Who was it who said, and I'm not good at these quotes, and I didn't come here intending to say this at the beginning, but that if the world is nowhere better than it was when I at the end of the day than when I started the day, then it was kind of a waste of a day. When you think of it that way, that you said it's sad? Well, no, but you probably did something that made it better. You really did. There's something that you did, even if it was just emptying the refrigerator of all the stinky stuff. Whatever it was that you did today, and think about that, because our days, our lives are made up of lots of days. And so some days are more significant than others. And just think about if there's something that you did. Did you smile to somebody today? Did you say thank you? Did you make them feel good? I try. I really try. If I'm out in the world, I try to connect to everybody I see. A lot of times it's things like, oh, that's a really cool t-shirt you're wearing. Oh, that's so cool. Was that a video game? Is that a whatever? Something. Did you go to that camp? Whatever it is. I try to connect to somebody. And I hope that it makes them feel a little bit better in their day. Try in some way. And think about that. Because, I don't know, this week some of the news that I was hearing, the things like the polar caps are melting and we're soon going to be underwater. And the good news is we've got beachfront property right here, right now. What? Anyway. There's a lot of news going on in the world. I was listening to NPR and they talked about that we are the next big carbon monoxide extinction. We have begun it already. And I don't want to hear that. But here we are. So I am glad that what we are doing today to make the world a better place is being here together. Just having a moment together, celebrating together, hopefully being a little bit inspired together. I want you to think a little bit about where you get inspiration from. What kind of stories do you get your inspiration from? That's kind of a theme for me today. And I'm still looking for it in many places. There are places that I find it. And one of it is interacting with people. So before we begin, and we're going to be turning to page 82 as a beginning, what I like to do is at the end of a week, a stressful week, so we drove to Jacob's and back yesterday. I got to say hello to our kids. That was really fun. On the way back, my tire light went on. And that's stressful. And you know, that trip in Mississippi, you are nowhere near anything that resembles anything. I mean, there were vultures. We see the vultures. That's my favorite part of the trip, is looking at the vultures. I got a really good video of this vulture that had to have been twice as big as I was. Kind of intimidating. That was stressful. But anyway, so we get to a place that used to be a car dealer that I've stopped at many a times, and now it's a tire place, but it looked like it was being renovated. But they checked my tires, and there was nothing wrong with my tires. So here I am, like, stressed out about driving, and there's nothing wrong with the tires. That was good. But it was a stressful week. So I encourage you to start Shabbat the way I start Shabbat. Take a deep breath. And let it out. And feel your shoulders relax, and try again. Another one, in through your nose, out. Said, and as would be the tradition if we were at home, as is the tradition here, if it's comfortable for you to stand and sit, I invite you to please rise as we turn to page 82, and I invite Todd and Leah up to come help us bless the candles and the pretend wine as we sanctify Shabbat. Page 82.
These lights are only flickering flames, yet flames illumine our uncertain steps. Flames remind us of Sabbaths long past and of their beauty that delighted our hearts. May they inspire us to work for the great Sabbath of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'had likner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hallow us with your mitzvah and command us to kindle the Sabbath lights.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue on pages 167 and 166 with the Kiddush, the sanctification of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pori hagaf.
Amen.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Amen.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You call us to holiness with the mitzvah of Shabbat, the sign of your love, a reminder of your creative work, and of our liberation from Egyptian bondage, our day of days. On Shabbat especially, we hearken to your call to serve you as a holy people. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of Shabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. Chug, chug, chug. I can't believe there was enough in there that you get to share. They don't put a lot in there. I'm not sure why. You are welcome to be seated if you say Shabbat Shalom to someone you came in with and someone you didn't come in with. Make sure everybody gets a Shabbat Shalom. It's a Sabbath of peace. Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Shabbat Shalom to you. I'm missing this light. One whole light. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. It's what? What? Grandpa is there. Shabbat Shalom. We caught everybody. We continue at the bottom of page 83. We read responsively. There are days when we seek material things, which is not a bad thing to seek, it's okay, and we measure failure by what we do not own. On Shabbat, we wish not to acquire, but to share. That's good too. There are days when we exploit nature with reckless greed. On Shabbat, we stand and wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we think only of ourselves. On Shabbat, we open our hearts to the needs of others. Therefore, we welcome Shabbat. Day of rest, day of joy, day of peace. And this song that welcomes Shabbat also welcomes the angels that accompany us on Shabbat. I thought it was especially appropriate because an angel plays a very important part in our story tomorrow and even tonight, but in the Torah portion that the boys that Ben and Luke, they're not boys anymore tomorrow, they're men tomorrow, that they chose for tomorrow to teach us about. So we sing on the bottom of 84. Shalom Aleichem Malachi Hasharet Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it says, y'all come in peace. Boachem L'Shalom Malachi Hashalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it says, bless me. Baruch Hu Ni L'Shalom Malachi Hashalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it says, when you leave, I hope you leave in peace. Tzedchem L'Shalom Malachi Hashalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The synagogue is the sanctuary of Israel. Born of our longing for the living God, it has been to Israel throughout our wanderings, a visible token of the presence of God in our people's midst. Its beauty is the beauty of holiness. Steadfast it has stood as the champion of justice, mercy, and peace. Its truths are true for all people. Its love is a love for all people. Its God is the God of all people. As it has been said, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples. Let all the family of Israel, all who hunger for righteousness, all who seek the eternal, find God here, and here find life. Yitgadal v'yitkadash me Rabba, be'alma divrach hirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala, ba'agala, uvizman kariv, v'yimeru, amen. Yehesh Rabba mevarach, la'alam ol almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpahar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemeh dekudisha, brichu, leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damihiran be'alma, v'meru, amen. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. O God, how can we know you? Where can we find you? You are as close to us as breathing, yet you are farther than the farthermost star. You are as mysterious as the vast solitudes of night, yet as familiar to us as the light of the sun. To Moses you said, you cannot see my face, but I will make all my goodness pass before you. Even so does your goodness pass before us in the realm of nature and in the joys and sorrows of life. When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when to the last full measure of selfless devotion, we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, then your goodness enters our lives, and we can begin to change the world. And then you live within our hearts, and we, through righteousness, behold your presence. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malechuto, Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated unless your bar mitzvah service is tomorrow. And then I need you to stay here for a sec. A little sneak preview. Yeah, don't tell.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Nice. What? Nice job. You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God. So every once in a while I have to remind people that I am quoting someone here. There's this adorable story, because we have some little ones here, about when someone is dressed up like this, very big and fancy, and standing up in front of everybody, and they say words like, I am the eternal God. I'm not God. I'm just saying, I'm quoting. I didn't write this. This is a book. They told me to say this. I, the Eternal One, have called you to righteousness and taken you by the hand and kept you. I have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations. We are Israel, witness to the covenant between God and God's children. This is the covenant I make with Israel. I will place my Torah in your midst and write it upon your hearts. I will be your God, and you shall be my people. We are Israel. Our Torah forbids the worship of race or nation, possessions or power. You who worship gods that cannot save you, hear the words of the Eternal One. I am God, there is none else. We are Israel. Our prophets proclaimed an exalted vision for the world. That part about worship gods that cannot save you, that's going to come up in our story later. Hate evil and love what is good. Let justice well up as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. We are Israel, schooled in the suffering of the oppressed. You shall not oppress your neighbors nor rob them. You shall not stand idle while your neighbor bleeds. We are Israel, taught to beat swords into plowshares, commanded to pursue peace. Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, desolation and destruction within your borders. All your children will be taught of your God, and great shall be the peace of your children. We are Israel, O God, when we are witnesses to your love and messengers of your truth. You are my witnesses, says the Eternal One, and my servant whom I have chosen. Know me, therefore, and put your trust in me. We are Israel, O God, when we proclaim you God our Redeemer, as did our ancestors on the shores of the Red Sea. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. In their escape from the sea, your children saw your sovereign might displayed. This is my God, they cried. The Eternal will reign forever and ever. V'ne'emar, and it has been said, the Eternal One delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael, We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. O God, spread over us your shelter of peace, of quiet and calm, and bless us with rest. And let a time come when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish, a time of happiness, of contentment and rest. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu va'al kol amo Yisrael, va'al Yerushalayim, va'al kol ha'olam. And just because that doesn't get translated, I'm going to tell you what that means. It says, Brett, praised are you, Adonai, our God, the one who puts a sukkah, a tabernacle, a shelter of peace above us, above all of the people Israel, above Jerusalem, and I added above the whole world. We give thanks for the night and its rest and the promise of peace for all the world. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berith olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam oti le'olam oti le'olam vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berith olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berith olam uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berith olam. Please rise for the tefillah, which begins on page 93. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Chaste Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. In the middle of 94 we read responsively, God of all generations, of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebekah, Leah and Rachel, be praised. Your wondrous creative power fills heaven and earth. God of life and death, be praised. Through us, send help to the falling, healing to the sick, freedom to the captive. Confirm your faithfulness to those who sleep in the dust. Awesome and holy God, be praised. With acts of love and truth, we hallow your name. As it is said, be holy, for I, your eternal God, am holy. God of times and seasons, be praised. Enable us through Sabbath rest to explore and learn and impart the meanings of your Torah. Make our hearts ready to serve you this day and all days. God who answers prayer, be praised. May we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God. Source of life and its wonders, be praised. You are the miracle within all we behold. You are goodness, you are compassion. We give thanks to you forever. Please join me in the paragraph under the Hebrew. God of peace, of justice, and of love, be praised. Inspire us to banish forever hatred, war, and bloodshed. Help us to establish forever one human family united in peace. God of peace, bless us with peace. Up until now, we've been reading words that other people have put into our mouths. They've been helpful, but I know there was another reason why you came here today. Take this moment of silence to say the prayers that are in your own hearts. We continue as we pray silently. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, be acceptable to you. Adonai, our God, my rock and my redeemer, Adonai, my rock and redeemer. At this time in our service, our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill or recuperating as you turn to the inside back cover of your prayer book. And I am turning off the list, my microphone to read. It's a very long list. The people for whom we are praying right now include Jobat Sr., Sue Barber, Phil Blofus, Martha Boyder, Avery Ken, Larry Courtney, Nathan Dayan, Denny, Linda Engelbert, Peter Haas, Elena Howard, Jen Costello-Hurst, Audrey and Lewis Carroll, Sophie Norman Lepo, Tim and Joalice Levin, Irvin Levine, Kid Lucky, Bernard Lobo, Ann Maxey, Molly Newstead, Angie Nolani, Nancy Rice, Sue Rubenstein, David Safir, Emily Simpson, Paula Sauer, Michael Stahl, Sister Mary Jones, Barbara Thorne Thompson, Virginia Walker, Austin Willis, Stephen Wright, Gigi Zielinski. If you have other names that you'd like us to add to ours, I invite you to do so when I come to you. Call them out. For all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts and not say out loud, we pray together. Oh God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. We have come to add Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we have entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom and protecting us in this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they've been called to serve. May they return home safely, and let us say, Amen. So we have one of the coolest and weirdest Torah portions this weekend, and Ben and Luke are going to tell us some very cool insights that they've come up with, but I'd really like to ask questions. I don't have a lot of answers about this one. This is really weird. I don't know if it's just that God has a crazy sense of humor, or if we're supposed to figure out how to get lessons from the most unusual places. But I want you to hear the story again, and they'll tell it to you again tomorrow, and I want you to see why I have more questions than answers out of this story. So the children of Israel are coming to the end, well, they're traveling in the wilderness. Let's say, according to last count, there was something like, according to the count, it was 600,000. That could mean 6,000. It could mean 3 million. It was a lot of people walking through. And it was getting to the end of the wandering. And we are supposed to be wandering through territory. And the king says, I don't really want you wandering through our territory. And we said, well, please, we promise we'll stay on the path. They said, no, it's not making me happy to think of you walking through my territory. And they said, pretty please, we really want to get there. He said, no. And so it turns out that this guy decides, the king, Balak, decides he's going to hire this guy. This is where one of the weirdest parts come in. He's going to hire this guy, and this guy is something like a sorcerer. That's one of the translations, a sorcerer. How many sorcerers do you know? Anybody? Okay, don't admit it, just saying. So I have to tell you that in the Torah, it also says that sorcerers are forbidden. But this guy is a sorcerer, or at least he's really good at using his words to bless or curse the enemies. If he blesses you, then you will win. If he curses you, then you will lose. And so obviously the king is hiring him to curse the children of Israel. And he sends these emissaries, and the emissaries say, please, please, please come back and curse these Jews. And the guy says, I can only do what God tells me to do. He's a sorcerer, and the words that he uses says that he's talking directly to God. Okay? And God overnight says he's a good host, and he lets the guy stay overnight. And in the morning, he says, God said, I can't curse these people. These are his people. I can't curse them. And they go back, and they tell King Balak, and Balak says, I really need him to curse the Jews, because I really don't want the Jews to come. I really want to destroy them if I battle against them. And he sends more important emissaries, and they go, and they promise him lots. I mean, a whole palace full of riches. And he says, I can only do what God tells me to do. And he talks to God that night, hosts them again overnight, this new group of people. And God said, I wasn't kidding. These are my people. Don't curse these people. And so he goes back and he says, I can't curse the people because God said not to. And they said, what if we give you 2 palaces worth of wealth? And then he says, God, can I please just see what they want? And God says, if you want to go, just go. Something like that. I'm feeling something teenagey in here. And so he says, thank you, God. I'll just check it out. I promise I'll be a good boy. So he goes, and he saddles his donkey. And this is part of the funniest part of the story. He saddles something that they're very clear is a she-donkey. It's a female donkey. And he saddles the donkey, and he and his servants go out on the way. And God, this is one of the weird parts of the story, God changes God's mind. God said, okay, if you want to go, go. We know what that meant. That meant don't go. But he goes, so it's not exactly changing God's mind. It's just using his words in a more appropriate way. And so now this guy's going. And what does the donkey see along the way? What does the donkey see? I'll show you. He sees an angel standing in his way in the middle of the road like this with this giant sword. And the donkey stops where the donkey is and doesn't go further. And Bilam, the guy who's riding on the donkey, the guy who's about to get paid beaucoup bucks if he makes it to his destination, says, "Yo, donkey, go," and starts kicking the donkey. And so there's this angel standing in the way. And it says, as you'll hear in the Torah portion tomorrow, this is one of those things that's weird. It says that the angel is standing lisatan. You may have heard that word before. It's kind of Satan in the middle of this, saying to be an adversary to him, to stop him where he is, to block him. And so the donkey goes around the angel. And the angel watches the donkey go around him and keeps going. Well, they go a little bit further, and they get to a part like this, where there is like a bunch of trees and bushes that are on this side, and a bunch of trees and bushes that are on this side, and the angel right in the middle of that. And so the donkey stops right there and doesn't go. And so Bilam starts kicking the donkey, saying, "I told you to go. I don't want to lose this opportunity. Go." And the angel's standing there with this giant, can you see it? Giant sword, not invisible. I mean, it's right there. It's pretty powerful. And so Bilam starts kicking at the donkey, and so the donkey goes around to the point where Bilam has to scratch his leg. And he's so angry at this donkey. "Why did you go there? Just go." Well, they keep going. And then the angel stands in a spot. Let's see if I can get there. In here, where there's no room to the right or to the left, where the donkey can go around him. So what does the donkey do? Splats right there on the floor. Can't go anywhere, so what's he supposed to do? She splats down right there on her fours and lies there. And Bilam, I would have said had a cow, but that doesn't sound good. He doesn't have a cow. He starts hitting his donkey. Starts hitting her. And what does the donkey do? Does she take it lying down? Well, she doesn't have a choice because she's lying down and she's taking it. But she turns around and she says to Bilam, "Bilam, why are you hitting me? Why are you doing this? Aren't I the same donkey that you've been riding for a really long time? Have I ever steered you wrong? Ever?" And Bilam says, "Oh my God, a talking donkey." No, he doesn't. Bilam says, "No, you've never steered me wrong." "Really? That's the way the story goes?" He's watched too much Shrek, that's all I can say. He says, seriously? He doesn't stop. He doesn't think twice about the fact that he's talking to a donkey. That doesn't freak you out? It freaks me out. Why are we supposed to learn something from this? Why are we supposed to learn something about a sorcerer when a sorcerer is not allowed, and the sorcerer gets to talk to God using God's name, and the sorcerer is not Jewish but using God's name? Doesn't that freak us out a little bit? Just a little bit. And then the donkey turns around and starts talking, and nobody says, "A donkey was talking." No, he just says, "No, you've never steered me wrong." "Really?" And the donkey says, "Look, there's a giant angel carrying this giant sword in my way. I can't possibly go ahead." And Bilam says, What? You're right. There's a giant angel with a really giant sword in the path. "I didn't notice that." And the angel says, "I've been here all along. If you keep hurting the donkey, I would have killed you." Because at one point, Bilam says, "I'm going to kill you if you keep stopping," to the donkey. He says, "If I had a sword in my hand, I would have killed you already." To this donkey. What? And the donkey says, "Don't kill me. I can't go. Look, there's a guy with a big, strong sword. Really heavy sword, too, by the way." And he says, "Oh, there's a guy with a sword in the way." And he says, "Oh." And the angel says, "If you kept hitting your donkey like that, I'm going to kill you. I mean, I've got the sword here. I was going to kill you." And we're supposed to learn a lesson from all of this. Did you learn a lesson? Talk to your donkeys? Treat your donkeys nicely? No. You didn't learn that? Trust your sorcerers to tell you if they should go or not? If God says no, maybe God means yes, but maybe God means no. Like, what lessons are you trying to learn from this? It's a crazy story. It's part of why I love Torah. Because it's our job to figure out what lessons we're supposed to learn. It's our job to figure out why these stories are bizarre. It is an intriguing story. It makes me want to read more. It makes me want to look at things more. And here's this, My doctoral degree is in linguistics. Part of the story that surprises me. Now, rabbis along the way have always said the name of the Torah portion is Balak, which is the name of the king, this bad guy king who wants to curse the Jews. We named a Torah portion after the king that wants to curse us. If that's not weird enough for you, if all of those things are not weird enough for you, how did we ever hear this story? Where did we ever hear it? We're not there. We are not with the donkey. We are not with the angel. We are not with Bilam and Bilak as they're having these conversations, or the emissaries. We are not in any of those places. We are hearing this story kind of third person from someplace else. How did we know about this story? The next thing that happens is really cool, that Bilam gets to the place with Balak, and they make 3 different places where they create an altar, and they try to curse the Jews. They're looking out over this like precipice down this cliff at all of these tents, the abodes of the children of Israel. And instead of cursing, one of the most famous lines comes out of this when he says, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. That's the melody we use with the little kids. How goodly are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. He's supposed to curse and instead out blurts these awesome blessings. Blessings that have become part of our prayer service. But we're not up there, we're down there. How do we even know this story happened? It's in the Torah. It's part of why I love reading the Torah. So Ben and Luke have other important lessons that they want to tell you about tomorrow. But I love that story. I want you to be nice to your donkey, because the donkey probably has something really important to tell you, and see what that is. I found some really cool donkey stories along the way, really good Jewish donkey stories along the way, but I'll share that for another time. I'm going to invite Mr. President to come up and tell you what's happening in our world for this week. If you've got answers for that, let me know. But I love that story. Did you like that sword? Be careful, the sword is still there.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Mazel Tov to Ben and Luke and their family. We look forward to tomorrow morning. Ben and Luke Muslow will lead the service, be called to the Torah as B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow morning's service that will begin at 10:30 a.m. A luncheon following the service will be hosted by grandparents Vicki and Rob Franks and aunt and uncle Audra and Alan Hicks. There will be no Torah study tomorrow morning. The Oneg Shabbat refreshments after tonight's service are hosted by Leah, Todd, Grant, Ben, and Luke Muslow. The office will be closed Monday through Wednesday next week. Next Tuesday is Together Tuesday. Meet with Rabbi Jana starting at 6 p.m. under the Texas Street Bridge for an opportunity to visit with people from a variety of backgrounds. Please invite your friends. Next Friday is the first Friday of July and is Simcha Shabbat, when we celebrate and honor everyone with birthdays or anniversaries in July. The North Louisiana Jewish Federation will have its annual meeting at Wine Country Bistro, Line Avenue, on Tuesday, July 17th. The event will start at 5:30 p.m. and dinner will be served at 6. You must make a reservation and be a member of the Federation to attend. Please contact the Federation office for more information. Camp Kai campers, their families and staff are invited to a pizza party at Rotolo's Pizzeria, Tuesday, July 10th, 6 to 8 p.m. Jewish Federation will supply the pizza, and we can visit and get to know each other before camp starts. Registration forms are available online. The North Louisiana Jewish Film Series continues on July 26th with a 10:30 a.m. showing of An American Tale at Robinson Film Center. Camp Kai will be watching the movie then, and you can be there as well. If you would like your name to be on the big screen at our film series screenings, please contact the Federation office for details. You can send a check or pay with your credit card. Donations were made to B'nai Zion for pulpit flowers in honor of Luke and Ben Muslow becoming B'nai Mitzvah by their family. Donations were also made in loving memory of H. Leo Gringus and Rose Muroff by Donna and Randy Gringus, in loving memory of Harry Lipson by Susie and Artis Robinson, in loving memory of Alexander Benjamin Mizell, by Claire Mizell, Debbie Kamaker, and family, and in loving memory of Samuel Handel by Edwin Handel.
Thank you. That's a movie where we talk about animals that talk to us. And there are no cats in America. Somewhere out there, across the that's great. They sing and they dance and they do all kinds of cool stuff. So we get lessons from the most unexpected places. That's part of our lesson. And one of the lessons I understood here was, did you notice that Federation is now taking credit cards? I noticed that. They are. And the other news is that the Jewish directories are very close. The Sisterhood's Jewish directories, hopefully by the end of the week we will have them ready, but watch for the announcement and then we'll have them ready. I need to invite anyone who is, and it includes the people who turn 13 tomorrow, anyone who is under 13 to please come and open the Ark for the Aleinu on page 148. Come on up. Under 13, come on up. 148. Everyone else, please rise as the Ark is open. 148. Last time under 13, huh? Yay. All right, get ready. Open. You need to hold on to one? You want to take a little one? No? You want to take a little one? A not so little one? Anybody need to hug one? Yeah, somebody needs to hug a little one. Yeah, matches your outfit. Ready? Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedula li'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam. Get ready, bend your knees. Va'anahachnu, bend down. Korim, bow over. Umishtachavim, humodim. Now lift up. Lifnei melech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. And on the facing page, we're going to sing. V'nemar, v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad. What did you ask? If there's a Torah in the Torah? Ah, nice. All right, we close the arks, and when the arks are closed, you may be seated. I'm glad she does. Close it gently. Nice job. Thank you, everybody. That was an important honor, and we appreciate very much what you did for us. We continue on page 151. According to our information, there were 13 people who have died serving our country in the military this year. I am not convinced that that's the complete number. It is what we have as of now. I was promised that sometime during the summer we would get a complete list on the Jewish War Veterans, on the Jewish War Board website, but we do not have that yet. We do have an accurate number that, to my knowledge, 75 police officers have died serving, including, in addition to 8 canine officers. 2 of the police officers are from Louisiana. We've lost 49 firefighters, including 2 from Louisiana. Every week I go to the numbers and I say, oh, we didn't lose any more. Yeah, we did. We have lost every single week. I don't know that we've had any week we haven't lost police officers or firefighters, and my heart hurts. There are other people who we know about that we hear in the news who were lost their lives. The news reporters, that got to me, just for being news reporters. I mean, there are all kinds of, I don't want to miss anybody. I watch the news and my heart hurts. I don't want to miss anybody. We say those numbers now because if we don't know them and we don't know when they've been buried, we don't say Kaddish officially for them, but we still like to acknowledge the fact that they run into danger for our sake. And we are forever grateful, and we hope that their families are consoled. We continue on page 151. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We continue on page 152. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear, but love and understanding can help us pass through the darkness toward the light. Out of affliction, the psalmist learned the law of God, and in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silence in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live, as in their higher moments they themselves wished to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has taken from us this past month. We're remembering Lionel Eltis and Dorothy Cohen Chaffin. We also remember congregants' parents who died within the past year. Stephen Muslow, Janet Pachter Stewart, Henry Elaine Dreyfus, Flo Selber, Gloria Meyer, and Richard Stewart. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we're observing Yortzites this week include Dora Bluestein, Mrs. Marks Bluestein, Ruben Burakoff, Beulah Marie Notestein Courtney, Orville Dupree, Harold Feigelson, Alan Remy Gold, H. Leo Gringus, Sam Handel, Ben Levy Sr., Harry Lipson, Alexander Benjamin Maisel, Wayne McElvey, Rose Murov, Mitchell Neustadt, Max William Roth, Sam Rubin, Ophi T. Rubin, Judy Sklar Silberstein, Eva Silverblatt, Vernon Wesley Sinclair, Marion D. Sorkin, and Mrs. Joseph Paul Stewart Sr. In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise as together we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 154, and the translation is on 155. And I told you last week that I would give you a hint about a new interpretation that I had never heard before. Usually when I say this prayer, I say, the prayer is only about praising God. It has nothing to do with death. You'll notice that it says, let the glory of God be extolled, and it talks about how awesome and wonderful and beyond the praises and songs. And I say that we say this prayer to say thank you for having that person in our lives, and I mean that. But sometimes I'm angry with God when there's a person who I didn't want to leave. And I'm supposed to say this to honor their memory. And so an interpretation that I just read is that what if it's not about praising God, but it says, let the glory of God be extolled. May God be extolled and God's name be hallowed. In other words, we are looking for a day when we can feel that kind of confidence again because we're hurting. So I give you those two sides of the same interpretation of the same prayer. And we say together in the Hebrew or the English, whichever you're more comfortable with, we say, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'emru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. Please be seated. I said that I would get everybody who is under the age of 13 to come and help us say a blessing for the food so that we get to eat some of that delicious stuff that the Muslim gang got ready for us. What? Come this way, face the congregation. What are we doing, guys? We're going to start with this part. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
I'll take the plate and you guys grab. I'll take the plate. Let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. I win. There is more challah at the table for the grown-ups, anybody who wants it. There's going to be more singing and more things tomorrow, so I'm going to let us go tonight so we could be ready to celebrate in the morning. I hope everybody's there to help celebrate with us. Please rise for the closing benediction. And I really mean it. Isn't that cool? That was a birthday present. King Solomon's sword. It's not an angel's sword, but that's what I imagine the angel's sword to be like. Big, strong guy. There is a tradition that we always have around us our angels protecting us. That on our right is Michael, which means who is like our God. And on the left, we have Gavriel, which means my strength is God. And in front of us, we have Uriel, which means my light is God. And behind us, we have Raphael, which means my healing is God. And they're always these really strong guys protecting us from all sides. Know that they're there. And by the way, and above you is the Shekhinah, which is kind of this female spirit of God. And I like to say, patching your kepi, patting you on your head, and knowing that everything is safe. Just know that. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Feel that shine? Feel it. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem b'cha shalom. May God's face be lifted up to you. May God grant you peace, Shabbat shalom, and more simchas, lots of joyous occasions. Shabbat shalom, ein keloheinu.